My name is Jaden, and ever since I started programming 7 or so years ago, I wanted to make my very own game. Does that sound familiar to you? And looking at the great variety of games I played back then, what have we got? Like Overwatch, Zelda, Hollow Knight maybe? I wanted to take the one that felt like the simplest to me, Minecraft. What could possibly go wrong, right? Well, as it turned out, a whole chunk of things. However, as I soon had to realize, there were like huge blocks standing in my way. Setting up those goddamn calculations to figure out what block the player is currently looking at and what direction from it to place the next one. Setting up those freaking collisions properly, so you stop slipping off the block you want to jump onto, and you can't stick your head into the land of pain by placing a block right inside your head. Coming up with that annoying world generation algorithm, so you don't end up like with a super flat world. Instead, you got some kind of variation to it, what you could call like a terrain. I got so many blocks in my way, I could possibly make a whole video course from it. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now, over there on Patreon, and it's even partially free. Anyway, of all the blocks I was having in my way, let's talk about the biggest one of all. And what do you think might that one be? Like from the things we discussed earlier. My biggest obstacle of all were actually the blocks themselves. You see, the way I created those blocks in the first place was by using Unity's game objects. All I did was attaching a 3D model I created in Blender beforehand to the very game object, having a manipulated UV map to it, so I could align each face of Minecraft texture to the corresponding face of the cube itself. Then I attached a block strip to it, whose purpose it was to destroy the block whenever the player was hitting it long enough, and open a UI whenever the player hit right, in case it was a crafting table. And doing it like this basically led to my game completely dropping the ball when it came to its performance. Think of Minecraft world like consisting of 100 by 100 blocks, and even if it's only 2 or 3 blocks tall, so you got one grass block, one dirt block, and bedrock, and would already lead to your PC completely going nuts, because at that point you would still have like 30,000 blocks, and trust me, 100 by 100 is nothing when it comes to a Minecraft world. And at that point it wasn't even expanding. However, the way I did it in my second attempt, who I'm using in my video course, was by viewing those blocks not as separate objects, but as some kind of a homogeneous mass, meaning I no longer had to render each and every block itself. Instead, I could view whole chunks of blocks as one object, so I only had to render those faces that were actually visible. And for those chunks of blocks, why not using the chunks Minecraft is using itself anyway? That's what they were there for in the original. And by the way, I assume you know Minecraft if you clicked the video, but chunks are basically those huge towers of blocks that are strictly speaking 16 by 16 blocks from above and around 400 blocks deep. So they reach from the very top of the map to the very bottom, which makes them the perfect brick, if you will, to craft the world from. Unfortunately, the moment I just realized I could do it the way we just talked about, I already made my first Minecraft Unity series on YouTube. So showing those people the way not to do it essentially. I still told them how to use Unity in the first place and implement all those other features like surrounding, cubes, and chunks, but you know how it feels sometimes. Nonetheless, there were also a lot of good things to it. For instance, obviously, I also learned a bunch of things, like doing my research on how to do it the right way, rendering those cubes. I was also able to create a proper plan for creating the whole thing, which was basically the same one I am ending up using now in my video course on Patreon too. Besides that, I finally had the chance to improve all the systems I had so far. Take crafting for instance. I was having a crafting system in my original series for sure, still as you can see right here. The whole thing was still pretty limited, because all the recipes you can craft basically are fixed, so putting the old block in a whole nother slot already makes the system go scrapped. So in my second attempt, I implemented a system called equivalent recipes that basically checks for the formation of items, not for the whole pattern itself. So crafting the oak planks works now, regardless of where you put the oak block itself. Or what do you guys think of this awesome world generation? Before my rework, it was basically just a flat layer with some polygons on top of it to make for the mountains, if you can even call them like that. At this point, however, it's probably the best world generation algorithm I ever created. Unlike the fake flatland I had before, it now consists of actual biomes, whose borders I interpolated a bit to make it look nice and smooth. Look, I even added caves to it. Flora, ores, water, snow, and that special stuff, you know. And not sure whether you realized, but in my first attempt, I wasn't even having like transparent blocks, as you can tell by the leaves, whereas now, for Minecraft fans, it might be almost a pleasure to look at. Oh, and some miscellaneous stuff too, like those survival elements, you know, like HP and saturation and whatnot. And towards finally expanding, yay! So, funny enough, after doing all that stuff, I was kinda glad I did the mistake in the first place. So you see, I was told once again, basically, there's no wasted time, only wasted opportunities. I hope people are not thinking I'm selling them a get-rich-quick scheme. But that's just what I was experiencing, you know. And feel free to let me hear your thoughts on that in the comments. And hopefully I remember, like, next time some stupid bug is driving me crazy. Because, as you might imagine, but when I had an error like back then, was almost every time due to some object I tried to access not existing, like when the player is looking into the sky, because he's watching the birds or waiting for the sun to frizzle his eyes. And then, as my code, where the block the player is currently looking at is a crafting table, my code goes like, "What block are you talking about, man?" And now imagine what it looks like with my second attempt, where all of my blocks are like a homogeneous mass. Oh, not sure what went wrong, but this chunk should consist of 2000 phases, and it consists only of, like, negative pi over 2 phases. What? And the reason behind those strange anomalies is what we formally call parallel computing. So think of this as your game or app splitting up into 2 windows, where one of those basically handles some background calculations for the other. Alternatively, if you think of your game like a list of commands, do this, do that, what's previously been my finger, indicating the step I'm currently working on, basically now has to be 2 fingers, which can be all over the place basically, leading to some strange anomalies you couldn't even think of before. So your game consists of 2 whole different threads, if you will, and that's actually what we call it, like, for real. Still, as soon as you learned like what you have to watch out for, and those damn bugs have been eliminated beforehand, it was actually quite okay. I might have even had some fun doing it. Or, I mean, isn't it like always like this? Like if the not so fun stuff has already been done by someone else. So now I have a guess where I'm doing my video course right now. That way you don't have to face like the same obstacles I did. Like those calculations, collisions, world generation and stuff. I mean, if you ever thought about creating a very own Minecraft game, like myself back then, this might be the right chance for you to check out my video course on Patreon, where I'm making like the first few videos completely for free essentially. So you can take a look at it and see what you think of it. And what you're gonna see is I'm setting up the whole thing like as beginner friendly as possible. So neither do you have to have any experiences like in game dev, for instance with Unity, nor do you have to have any experiences in programming like with C# or whatever. And there's also gonna be additional free videos for free members. And the best thing of all, I wanted to make it like a bit more interactive. So that's why you can join my Discord through Patreon too. So I can help you understanding all this stuff, and also finding all the hidden mistakes and bugs there might be. Or you can just download my project files and don't have to do anything. Anyway, enough of me talking now. I'm currently decorating my room for you. It's also been the first time I'm like recording with this setup and also in front of the camera. So please tell me like whether you liked it. Oh, and if you don't want to write it into the comments, you can also tell me like using the subscribe button right here. That way I can apply for YouTube's partnership program. And maybe one day set up my video course right here. So it's gonna be even easier for you making your own game. And I'm excited to see you in my next video. And have a nice day.